Example 6, population density. In this example, we're going to talk about how to determine population density, or the amount of population in a specific region. So, a city located beside a river has a rectangular boundary as shown. So as shown right here, here's the blue river, and this is the rectangular boundary of the city. The population density of the city at any point along the thin strip x miles from the river's edge is f of x persons per square mile. So what I mean by this is what we have here is the graph, and as I move this strip across, the purple arrow represents x. And as you can see, as delta becomes larger, the strip becomes larger. But when we integrate, we're going to let that strip become insanely small. And so the idea is we find the area of one of the rectangles, and we add it to the area of the next rectangle, and so on, until we have the complete area. So if my delta was 1, I would add the area of that one rectangle, plus the area of that rectangle, plus that one, plus that one, and that would give me the whole area. However, this becomes more accurate when I let delta become very small, until this becomes basically just a straight line. And then what we do is we integrate all of these areas. So that's how we're going to come up with the population. So we're going to break this down to steps, and it's going to make the problem a little easier. So step A. What is the area of the thin strip x miles from the river's edge? So looking back at our example, we have that this distance right here is 7. So if I go up here, I'm going to label my diagram. This distance is 7. This distance is 4. We're going to call this distance x. And then this little bit right here is going to be delta x. And now we're going to go ahead and label stuff. So what is the area of the thin strip? Well, area of a rectangle is length times height. So the area of this is going to be the length is delta x, and the height is 7. So area is 7 delta x. What is the population of the thin strip? So what we need to know for this part of the problem is that population density is given by the formula population divided by area. And back in the problem originally, it tells us that f of x represents persons per square mile. So f of x is equal to the density. Well, we want to know what is the population. So we want population by itself. So we get population is equal to f of x times area. And we know that the area is equal to 7, this is times 7 delta x. So we have 7 f of x delta x. This is going to be the formula for population. So what is the total population of the city? Well, like I said, we're going to integrate. So we get total population is equal to the integral from 0 to 4 of 7 f of x dx. And the reason it's from 0 to 4 is because we're integrating over our x values. We're integrating from here all the way across. So delta x is represented by the x-axis, so we start at 0 and we go to 4. And then the delta x triangle becomes our dx. So this is 7 times the integral from 0 to 4 f of x dx. And then if you knew what f of x was, you could actually just plug in the integral and solve.